What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a greenhouse tour. I have a couple bigger videos planned for later on in the next week or two, but I figured I would just throw something out there as fodder to watch in the meantime. Most of the plants we're going over are Nepenthes. There's a few orchids scattered around here and there, nothing too crazy. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we will dive right into it. Over here is nothing too crazy, it's just a lot of seedlings and cuttings. I'm actually experimenting with the whole rooting in water technique. It's taking significantly longer than if I were to just put it directly in sphagnum. In the corner are a few plants that are establishing. I have received in trades and purchases and stuff. This over here is actually a really cool little picture. This is a red skeleton. Really awesome slender picture, and the leaves are equally as slender. I apologize for the airplane if you could hear it. This is a Mirabilis by Mirabilis var globosa. A little Ripsalis off to the side. I pollinated it. Let's see if I could focus in. There we go. I pollinated it with Ventricosa by Burkii and either Diariana or Eldenly. So there's a lot of really viable seeds I can see forming on the bottom. The top is kind of just chaff that wasn't pollinated. Pretty cool pictures, nothing too extravagant. It's a typical Mirabilis, you know. A lot of green. Down there is a Ventrata I let burn in the sun, and I am training to vine up the side of the greenhouse. Over here there's just some peppers. Nothing extravagant. There is a nice little Huronia Volcardii. Produces these amazing flowers that smell decently bad. Over there is a small Sanguinea by Mariliana. Over here is a seed-grown Sumatrana, I believe. Yeah. And he's just about to pop a new picture. There is a Sunset Songs over here. This is a Truncata by Spectabilis from Predatory Plants. Yeah, this should be really awesome at maturity. Its name, or I guess, I don't know if it's considered a cultivar, it's not registered, but they listed it as their in-house hybrid as Titanic Savior. Little cat luster back there. It's a Mirabilis hybrid that I think has a viral infection. You can see there's like a slight variegation going on in the leaves. I'm going to assume that's from a virus because the pictures are nothing too spectacular. Like, let's see. One of these. They were always deformed and just funky looking. Nothing crazy. There is a tissue cultured Sumatrana, one of my least favorite tissue cultured forms. Because they have genetic problems. The pictures are always just wacky, and the leaves, it produces multiple heads, growth points at once. Just a mess. This is a Hamada by, no, Thorelii by Hamada. Really awesome. The new pictures start out lime green and then progress to red, as you can see in that back corner over there. It grows pretty quick for a Hamada cross, too. I apologize again for the airplanes. It's like everybody wanted to fly their airplanes today. This is a Viking by Bicalcarata by Northiana seed grown, which I'm super pumped for because it should be awesome at maturity. And there's a Viking by Bicalcarata F2, really small. This is a really cool little guy, growing pretty fast. This is a Rocco Exotica. Great breeding female, whole lot of great crosses were made with it. This is a Maxima large by Vicii, basically Tivii. It was having humidity problems, so the new pictures are a little deformed. I'm letting it grow a little bit before I start to really show it off. This is a Nepenthes James Taplin bred by Manny Herrera. Really cool. It's Mirabilis by Rafflesiana by Mirabilis. Over here is a Rafflesiana var longata, or Hemsleyana, by Lowland by Mariliana. The pictures are just dying back, but it is producing new pictures all the time. This is a Borneo Exotics Rafflesiana. Let's see if I can focus in on that. Super awesome, nice cream colored pictures. This is the stereotypical fan favorite. Oh, I gotta cut that leaf off. Bicalcarata. This is the red flush clone. Produces, like, you know, the name says, nice red flush pictures. Yeah, that took a little bit to focus in. For some reason, it's just awkward lighting over here, but that's a red flush clone of Bicalcarata. Next to it is a little Prosperity. This is, like, actually pretty slow growing for a lowland cross. Pictures are a little funky. I had to repot it, so maybe it'll pick up speed. Back here is a black Grabilis from Bruce Bednar. Cross between Gracilis Black and Mirabilis. Pictures like absolute mad. There's like a whole mess of them down here, and they're pretty cool. It scrambles like crazy. There's a little sulking Bloody Mary. Nothing too crazy. This is a Mirabilis varglobosa clom. I think a slug got to the lid of this picture. Yeah, it did. But very awesome. I actually had to take one of the pictures off because it swallowed a lizard. That was a nice experience. It still smells really bad. The leaf jumps are just massive. Awesome. Seed-grown Mirabilis back here. There is a Rainward Tiana. It was not happy with the lower humidity, so now with the increase in humidity, it should be a lot happier. And maybe it'll show me those eye spots that it has yet shown me. Here's a really cool one. This is Mirabilis of our Echinostoma. Let's see. So one thing I have noticed about this particular clone or variety of Mirabilis is that if the humidity drops below like 80%, I can't seem to focus in on those stripes, the pictures will die. The pictures do not last long at all, and it's absolutely crazy. Kind of sucks because it's one of the more extravagant forms. This is Mirabilis Red by Ted Payne, I think. It's a nice little red cross. Speaking of red, there is a Ampullaria Williams Red by Harlequin over here. One of the best forms of Ampullaria, in my opinion, just because of how deep, vibrant red the pictures are. And here is a red form of Mirabilis. Really dark. Like, the camera won't pick it up, but in real life it is borderline black in some places. Really cool. There is a Truncata about to open up a new picture. Should be a pretty nice size. Over here is a Truncata by Basciana. Truncata Giant by Basciana from Exotica. Really awesome. Grows pretty moderate. All the Truncata crosses over here kind of take their time. This is a really cool cross, actually. This is a Kaiserion. Or Caesarion, depending on how you pronounce it. They start out almost snow white in the peristome, like a Burbigiae, and then it converts to a nice cherry red, and it should be massive. Another really nice Truncata cross is this Truncata by Ventricosa by Sibionensis by Mariliana from Exotica, which is just brilliant. I love the peristome and the contrast it has. Over here is a establishing Truncata by Carunculata Robusta by Mariliana. It's taken a little while, but it should be picking up speed. There's I don't even think I need to move it. Truncata by Insignis. Inermis. I take that back. Truncata Giant by Inermis. There's a Truncata Passion clone. They say highland, but it is growing great in lowland conditions. It's a Truncata F, kind of struggling with a fungal infection I'm trying my best to cure. Truncata by Maxima, or Maxima by Truncata, one or the other, by, I guess, Exotica. I'm leaning towards Exotica because I know they've done a whole bunch of crosses regarding it. This is my giant Nepenthes ventricosa by Mariliana. One of the largest pictures in my greenhouse. Let's see. I actually have a little cutting down there. That is just a brilliant picture. I am just in love with this cross so much. Nice little curved waist of ventricosa with the absolute monster size of Mariliana. And it's starting to produce intermediates. still a pretty decent size. There is a Alocasia poly. It's really closely related to Amazonica. Lizard just fell from the roof of my greenhouse. Huh. Oh, it's hot in here. This is a Rafflesiana varnivia from Bruce Bedner, although I am almost sure there is Mirabilis in this cross. Absolutely. The pictures are amazingly striped, which is just awesome. I love it. Waiting for a basil, which would be swell. This is one of my favorite clones of Maxima. This is the, I guess it's kind of like the false Ime clone, because everybody thought it was Ime for a while. It is a, I think it's like 30-something or 6804 from Borneo Exotics. Just amazing pictures. There is the infamous Rocco Exotica by Basciana by VGI Highland. Just, let's try to see that peristome. Absolutely a beautiful plant. There's a bigger picture on the other side, but the leaf drop was massive, so hopefully the picture will be nice and large. There is a Maxima by Bicalcarata, and one of my favorite Maxima primary crosses, probably aside from Tivii. It has these really cute little fangs that are like just barely fangs. They don't really have the full pronounced shape that Bicalcarata has, and everything about it is just so cool. It has the best of both worlds. Super easy to grow in lowland conditions. There's a nice Wrigleyana back there. It's an Alata Luzon by Giant, or Giant by Luzon, but some people say it has Nepenthes gracilliflora in it. There's a nice kind of picture over there. It's an intermediate. Threw out a basil, and it's kind of slowed down picturing. It likes the cooler weather just a tad. Yeah, the pictures are all scraggly looking, but it has a new one, so no complaints. Nice little leaf jump too. This is the infamous Manny Herrera that is about 7 feet tall, wraps around the bottom. There's another growth point over here, and it has a basil. This plant is a beast, and pretty nice pictures too. Actually, really nice pictures. I love the pink flush it has. This is Eldon Lee. It's just converted to uppers. I mean, they've always been uppers, but after blooming, the uppers were like even more pronounced. It's kind of, there's another picture wrapped around it. I don't want to move it too much. But it has a basil with a little lower starting on the bottom. So we'll see where that goes. The Monstera coffee plant. Diariana. Which everybody always loves. You know, if you have Lowland Nepenthes and you happen to have one of these in your collection, this is the first one most people will ask about. It's just a brilliant cross, one of the best in history in my opinion. Over here is a Lesley or Lesley. I guess it's Lesley. It's, I think it's Alata or Gracilliflora by Ampullaria. I'm almost sure. This whole bench over here is kind of just holding plants that I'm trying to find a place for in the greenhouse. Eventually I will be converting it for more vining plants like my taller Nepenthes that are wanting to overgrow everything, so they'll stay down here, or maybe even just Ampullaria hybrids. There's more pictures over there. This is a really cool Splendiana by Songs of Melancholy. Yeah, just amazing peristome. Literally in love with it. Here's an Aristolochia I will be covering in another video. A nice little Philodendron Rojo Congo. Some bromeliads. A few orchids on here. They're kind of suffering. I neglected them for a little while. There's a Maxillaria tenifolia. Over here is a Brassivola Little Star, which is a Brassivola nodosa hybrid. So it has a flower spike, but there will be about 10 of them by the time November rolls around, and they're awesome. So I think that kind of wraps everything up. There's a few Vandaceous orchids. Really awesome flowers. Smell great. Little seedlings up there. Anyways, I think that just about wraps it up. I will see everybody in future videos, and I hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe, comment, and do all of that jazz.